Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to a special edition of Chime with Jhalisa. If you were here last year, I did an episode called 4 Years Later. This one I'm not calling 5 years later, but it is within that same little realm of topic of being 5 years later. For those who don't know, 5 years ago, I almost made a life-altering decision. And every single day now, I am so thankful I never made that action go all the way through. Obviously, I've spoken about it a couple of times. I've talked about my mental health. I have put myself in a space that can be very uncomfortable because it's very vulnerable and it's very, very transparent. I wouldn't have learned those skills without having gone through these past 5 years. And while I'm not saying that that event was the best thing that ever happened to me, because it wasn't, I'm very thankful for what it taught me and what it brought me, honestly. In addition to amazing friends that I have and new opportunities I have taken advantage of, and just the grace of being who I am now. A very, very, very important person in my life is one of my best friends. I have 1,000 emotions going through my head right now because one of my other best friends has amazing things going on in her life, and I'm so happy for her. And so I just have all these emotions, and on top of that, another best friend, the initial best friend I mentioned, continues to show up for me. Every single one of my best friends I also refer to as a sister, or that very important aspect of my life, a very important soul energy person in my life, because without them I really genuinely wouldn't be here today. And I know that's super cliche, but I am a firm believer in that you are most like the 5 people that you hang around with. And so as I've gone through the years, and these are the people that have consistently been there, that consistently choose me in life, and I choose them every single day. And the next person, initial person I was going to talk about, Heidi. I typically wouldn't throw your name in here like that, but I mean, this is such a big thing, and for me, I really, really wouldn't be here without you. And I'm gonna do my absolute best not to cry in this episode. Heidi was there. Well, Heidi was who showed up, who I called out to on that night. She answered with no hesitation. I had probably no clue what I was mumbling, because if I'm being honest, I remember calling her and just being fully in tears and just sobbing and asking if I can just hang out with her for a little bit. She had no clue what had happened. I walk across campus, I go hang out with her. She's doing everything to just keep my mind off of it. She's there for me and supporting me in every way that I needed, that I couldn't express. Heidi sent me something, and it's been in my house for a week. And on the box, it says, "I had planned to wait to send this, but your Where Have I Been episode got me excited to celebrate early, so I couldn't wait." She goes on to mention it's up to me whether I want to open it when I got it or when the 28th has come. And I decided to wait, which has been agonizing, because I text her and I was like, "Oh, I'm sobbing. What is this?" And she had just said, "I don't want you to think I forgot," because that was such a big night, and everything changed that night. Everything was up in the air. So she wrote me a card, and it says that I can't open the card without opening the package. So I have to open both, or I have to wait, and I can't cheat, and I have to open the card first. So here we go. The other major thing about Heidi is Heidi didn't ask questions. Heidi didn't judge me. And very, very important people in my life, when I've told them this, they don't look at me with pity. because I don't want that. I don't need that. They don't look at me like, oh, like, you should just be happier. You should just look on the bright side. They sat there. They have let me experience it. They have let me talk to them, and they did everything without judgment. And I couldn't be more thankful. And that goes to right now, I am surrounded by people that don't look at me with pity. They don't hear the story and go, oh, Jhalisa, like, you poor thing. They just show up for me every day, and they choose me every day. And they've shown me, and this goes for everybody that, you know, really has a place in my heart. Choosing me is something that I never thought would be like a regular thing. I'm not gonna read the card out loud. I'll read the little front part, but I'm not gonna read the card. I'll probably cry. I'll also probably speed this section of the video up. Here's what, it's not gonna focus. It's not gonna focus. I'm gonna, here we go. Okay, it's not gonna go. I'm not gonna read the card because I'm probably gonna cry. I'm not even done with the card. All these people that, you know, I really hold deep in my heart, they just show up and they love me in ways that I didn't know I needed. I'm very blessed to be in a position where I don't have to feel like I have to be somebody else's expectation of me. The people that have stuck around, that I'm, you know, around now, they don't expect me to be anything but me, and they don't, you know, ask me to change different parts of myself. They don't expect me to change parts of myself, and I can be authentically me without feeling like I'm annoying to them. It's being around these people is just a blessing in and of itself. Heidi, I'm like shaking. I don't want to open it now. It says, you are important, you are amazing, you matter. I'm so happy you're here. And I don't have any words right now. It's really hard in this life to find people that your heart and your soul recognize. And I'm just really thankful that I've had the opportunity to not only know Heidi, but have my heart and soul recognize her, and vice versa. She is the twin and sister that I've had in every lifetime, and that I will continue to choose in every lifetime. Heidi, I love you very, very much. And I'm thankful that we are where we are now in life. And at the end of the day, that was English. At the end of the day, nothing will express how thankful I am that you picked up the phone that night. Nothing in this world will prove and show to you how much I appreciate you picking up the phone that night. Because we had known each other less than a year, And my brain, my heart, whatever in the moment, its first thought was, we gotta call Heidi. And I know, again, in every single lifetime. To you, dog. So on the topic of that, is kind of what I wanted to talk about in the rest of the episode. So I make a really big deal nowadays, especially since that night, to be very particular and selective of the people I keep close to me. Because like I mentioned earlier, these people, they have to be able to call me out. They have to be able to, you know, put me back in a place where they know I'm comfortable, they know I thrive, they know I want to do well. And I say these things, I keep saying they have to. They don't have to do anything because, like I said, all they do is show up. Knowing that I was one of the first people on, you know, one of my friends' mind when something just happened, she called me. When, you know, they want to invite me somewhere out for when I come back home, they call me. I have another friend from college. She calls me, I don't care, I'm picking up. And if y'all know me, like a little bit, you guys know I don't like answering the phone. I don't like being on FaceTime. But there is a group of people that it doesn't matter the time of day, it doesn't matter if I'm expecting a call, I will pick up that phone. If one of them were to call me right now, I'd pick up. And that's just to go to show that, you know, I'm always going to be there for them because they've done that for me. I'm very, very happy. I'm in a place now where I can be hopeful to every single day. I can be excited for what's to come. I have plans of what I want to do. I want to continue to see year after year after year after year. I also want to get to the point where, yes, I, you know, start to celebrate this day more, but at the same time, it doesn't need to be a counter back here. It happened. There's nothing on this planet Earth that could change that. It's happened. And I have held on to it for so long that, you know, once I started being more vulnerable and feeling my feelings a lot more, all these emotions, I would laugh and I'm like, dang, I am such a crybaby now. Like, I used to never cry, let alone never cry this much. So now that I am in a place where all I'm doing, I feel like, is expressing these emotions, I sit there and I'm like, dang, I'm a crybaby. But then I have to remember, after it happened, I didn't talk about it or like really let it hit or go get help for probably a year and a half, almost 2 years. And then I started talking about it more. I went to a FCA, which is a Fellowship for Christian Athletes, retreat. It's called Winter Blast. I sat in a room full of strangers and told them. And I said, this is something I've been carrying with me for, 2 years now, a year and a half, 2 years. And I don't want to feel like it's the one thing tying me down anymore. I don't want to drag it around because it happened. There's nothing I can do about it. I'm ready to move on. And that was the moment I kind of sat there and I was like, dang, I get the opportunity to move on. I get to choose this and I get to do it my way. And from that point on, I was trying to figure out who I was in such a confusing time. Like, COVID was about to hit. I was a junior in college when I went to the winter retreat. I was about to have surgery. I didn't know if I was going to be able to compete my senior year. There was so much tied to my athlete lifestyle that I still took this event that happened in college and suppressed it, buried it down to deal with later. I packed it in a box and shipped it to memory lane. I didn't want to deal with it because I had all these other things to worry about. When in actuality, I should have looked inward and realized, hey, I need to take care of myself because I almost lost myself. And I don't know when I hit the point where I was like, hey, I'm done putting up the act. I'm done trying to be strong every single day. I want to make a difference. I didn't know where to start. I didn't know how to change myself. I didn't know what I even wanted to emulate. I didn't know what in my heart I wanted to show the world. I didn't. So I took the time to get to know myself. I sat by myself with a pen in my notebook nights and nights, 2 a.m., 3 a.m., sleepless nights. This is still junior, headed into senior year. I would take random walks around campus, and this is from the night it happened to through college, like through the rest of college. I would just get up in the middle of the night, walk around campus. I would sit there my junior and senior year because I had my own room and the light wouldn't bother anybody else, and write in my journal pages and pages, some of them tear-stained to this day. Some of them I've gone back a couple of times in the past and I've reread these entries and I'm just like, geez, I was in a dark place. I really was. But I had the blessing of having so many lights around me trying to find me, trying to help me find myself. And I wouldn't be here today without those people, which is why I've mentioned this 1,000 times. I'm so big on community and I'm big on authentic community. You can be there for somebody and say you're gonna do all these things, but until you show up for that person, until you see them, not just visually see them, until you really see who they are, you're not showing up for anybody. All of that is word. You need action over thought. So, to all of the people out there that have really, really seen me in such a dark space but still look so happy, thank you for not giving up. And I can say, I'm done considering the option of giving up. It's gone. I tried that 5 years ago, and I'm glad I did it. I'm glad, I'm just glad I'm here. I'm glad I get to see every day, see the pretty sunsets and sunrises, and see the leaves change colors in the fall. I'm happy I get to text and call and FaceTime specific people in my life and wake up every day and just pour more and more into myself and the people I love. I am more than wanting and willing to continue to share my story because it's something that's so real, and that the more we talk about it, the more we don't have to look at people like, oh, I'm so sorry, like, oh, this, that, and the third, all these other things that a lot of us are still getting, but we're ready to move on from the pity. We don't need the sorry faces and the concerned glances at mentions of certain words. We just want to know that there are people in our lives that will help you look for yourself. Like I said earlier, all of these lights in my life are because somebody has searched for me when I was lost. And what better way to find yourself than from the people you love? The people that make up your heart come find you and help you find yourself again. They didn't throw suggestions at me. They didn't tell me, no, you should feel this way, or maybe you should do that and it'll change this. They just were there with me while I've been growing. They've been there with me while I've been in tears, enraged, where I've been at the happiest points of my life and at the darkest. It's not a matter of, ooh, how does she feel this day, that day, and it's give and take. It's every single day I show up for them, they show up for me. What a beautiful way to live life, right? But again, to all of those people with such a special place and space in my heart, in my soul, from my energy to you, thank you for not seeing a broken person in need of fixing. Thank you for being the light as I try to find myself again. Thank you for seeing me and hearing me and helping me, regardless of what the weather would bring that day. I have always felt like I wasn't an easy person to love. So the fact that you all choose me every single day means more than you'll ever know. So on that note, again, I'm so happy to be alive, and I can't wait for whatever comes my way next, because I can do whatever I want. So thank you so much for chiming in with Jhalisa. I will see you next time, and peace.